Yo, what the hell is going on? Wizards have emerged as a legitimate potential trade destination for Atlanta's Trae Young. Dude, I'm just like, I got this news at work about an hour and a half ago. Things are moving quickly. Let's go straight to it, dude. I am legit not surprised. I'm just at a loss of words, especially with how things are moving quick so far. Anyways, let's see here. 1 second, real quick. Mark Stein reported this. We're going to go in chronological order, y'all. Wizards have emerged as a legitimate potential trade destination for Atlanta's Trae Young in a deal construction centered around CJ McCollum's expiring contract. He dropped here in his Substack, basically stating more details. I unfortunately am a bit poor, so I don't. My bad, Mark Stein. But this was stated here. Mark Stein is reporting that the Hawks may have to send draft capital to the Wizards for McCollum's expiring deal to unload Trae. Right now, I am a bit shocked / excited / nervous. I don't know what to think right now. From the outside looking in, I mean, I actually was thinking about a Trae Young possible trade to the Wizards for a couple of weeks ago. We've seen rumors regarding Trae Young and the Hawks possibly going separate ways. The Hawks have actually been playing much better without Trae Young this year. Trae Young just came back from an injury. My bad, y'all. I do not have chat up, and I forgot to freaking add chat to the stream. God dang it. My bad, y'all. This is a bad. I effed up. Anyways, let's go straight here real quick. I'm going to have to read y'all's chat via my phone. My bad. It says here, if we do this before the lottery, I'm going to cry, Will Pullen says. I will never tolerate Keyshawn hate. You're a little soft. Can you bring up your volume, please? My bad. Sorry, this stream is already going off the wire here. I'm gonna speak closer to the mic. But yeah. Yep, everybody. Wizards, and things are moving quickly. Let me go straight to it, all right? Also, this also dropped as well. We've also been linked to Jonathan Kuminga, per Kevin O'Connor. League sources says that we've been linked to Jonathan Kuminga potentially. I thought about this as well. Hypothetical trade. But enough about that. I just want to throw it in there. Let's get straight to it because Shams just dropped this as well. He recently dropped this. Now, that was speculation about an hour and a half ago saying that Trae Young is a possible destination for the Wizards by Mark Stein. Now, Shams tweeted this about an hour ago, 30 minutes ago, saying sources, Hawks and Trae Young are now working together on a trade out of Atlanta. So, things are moving quickly. It was actually reported, I believe, earlier today, even earlier, before the Mark Stein's report, saying that Trae Young wouldn't mind a trade out of Atlanta. So you see the domino effects. First, it was Trae Young wouldn't mind a trade out of Atlanta. Then it was reported by Mark Stein saying that the Wizards are a legitimate place for the Trae Young trade. And then now 30 minutes ago, Shams says, hey, man, they're actually working on a trade. Not the Wizards and Hawks. Perhaps they are. We don't know. But the Hawks and Trae Young are now working together on a trade out of Atlanta. Let's see here. Let's see what chat's saying. CWJ says, if this trade happens, part 2 could be using Middleton's expiring Sabonis. We'll see. We'll see. So, honestly, I have this right here. Let's go in chronological order. This is Shams' article that was just dropped, saying that the Hawks and Young's agents have maintained dialogue over his future over the past several months since the franchise elected not to offer a contract extension to the 27-year-old guard. Young has this season and next season a $95 million total remaining on his deal, with a player option in the offseason. So let's look at his contract. All right, let's look at Trae Young's freaking contract. So this is it. He is owed just this year, and he has a player option next year for $48 million. So He could choose to become with the way he's been playing, unfortunately, with the injury and stuff like that, I like to think he's going to, pick up that player option. But, stranger things have happened. It's a little, you know what I mean? I don't know. Right now. Let me see what chat's saying. Sir Tut says no. Trae for CJ, I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, two Traes in the backcourt. That'd be crazy. I'm going to get to that in a bit regarding the fit. So this is his current contract situation. He's only guaranteed this year, and he has a player option for next offseason. So we'll leave it at that. Trae Young this year has averaged just 19.3 points, 8.9 assists. He's been injury hampered big time. Only has played. What the hell? Only has played 10 games, averaging 19.3 points, 8.9 assists, shooting splits of 41, 30, and 86. Has not been a solid year for Trae. Granted, injuries are playing a big factor in this. But we know how Trae is when he's playing. Like, he's a bona fide star. Last year, he averaged 24 points, 11 assists on shooting splits of 41, 34, and 87. But again, he just came back from an injury, or coming back from an injury. The Hawks have actually played better without him. He comes back, and the Hawks, again, are losing. Hawks have new pieces now on their roster. Young Bucks, Jalen Johnson, dudes who they want to build their team around. I don't know. What do y'all think? The first thing, I'm going to give you my 2 cents because I have a lot of links right here for you guys. We're going to go through this together. I'm literally digesting this as we are like going through this together because I was at work. I couldn't do. Bruh, I was at work. My phone started going off at 5:30. I pick up my phone. I'm reading it, and then the phone slips out of my hand. Like in the movies. It literally slipped out of my hand. I was like, what the hell am I reading? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Anyways, let me read what chat says here. No defense. He isn't a culture builder. All right, so here's my 2 cents. Here's my take on this before we go into further news. We've talked about this one already. Here's my 2 cents, y'all. Trae Young. A backcourt of Trae Young and Trae Johnson, I would assume it'd be that. Defensively, it would be a huge liability. I can't even just imagine just thinking about that. We would have to, we have to start McCollum, Keyshawn George, Alex Sarr, obviously. You know what I mean? It would just be bad. Supremely bad. Opposing teams would attack us. But with this report stated now that the Hawks may be inclined to send draft capital to us because they're taking CJ McCollum's expiring deal to unload Trae, then you got me thinking, could this be like a Jordan Poole 2.0 type trade? A Jordan Poole 2.0 type trade. Will we trade for him, rehabilitate or try to rehabilitate his trade value, and then flip him again? That's the first thing that came to my mind. If we are getting draft capital on top of getting Trae Young, which is actually a crazy sentence to utter because Trae Young offensively is one of the best players in this league. Trae Young here would make guys like Bilal Coulibaly much better. He'd make Alex Sarr a 20-10 guy heading into his third year, at least 20 and 10. He'd elevate the games of Trae Johnson. Granted, he'll have to share, attempts with Trae Johnson. I don't know. It'll be win and lose with Trae Johnson with that one. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. Keyshawn George, it would also help Keyshawn George, but it will also take away secondary ball handling duty from Keyshawn George as well because Trae Johnson's the ball hog. No offense. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he can also elevate the play of dudes like, Justin Champagnie, Marvin Bagley if he's still here. He would elevate everybody else around him much better like a true point guard does. But we already talked about defensively. If we get draft capital on top of getting Trae Young, I'm in. I'm in this trade. if we don't get draft capital, like the main question here is, what are we giving up? Are we giving up anything of value besides our expiring deals? You know what I mean? That's the main question in my opinion. It says right here, I need to refresh Twitter because you know what? Things are moving quickly. Maybe Trae Young just got traded right now. Things are going crazy. So from the outside looking in, it depends on the package. Here's a couple of hypothetical trades. Anyways, before I found some hypothetical trades here. Corey Kispert could be involved, unloading him and his long-term contract that we have. That would be a plus for us. Anyways, here's a tweet by this guy, Wizards Film Room, which you have to follow. He's a great follow in Twitter. He says, another point that makes this a potential trade fascinating is that the Wizards may be getting compensated more than we think. Trae has a $49 million player option this coming summer. If the deal is centered around CJ, who's an expiring $30 million deal, assuming the Hawks let Porzingis walk for nothing in free agency, they could have up to $39 million in cap space. So while the Wizards could likely be getting the best player in the trade, they would also likely give up a huge amount of their projected $80 million cap space if Trae is on the roster on a similar, average deal. So he says, I would be negotiating with Atlanta hard about getting compensated for potentially allowing them to get all the way up to their near max player cap space. One thing that I feel like Wizards fans don't realize or Wizards fans don't take into consideration is that we all know we have a lot of expiring cap space this year. Daily McCollum, Chris Middleton. We have, I believe, 10 or 11. I think it's 11 first-round picks on our roster. 11 first-round pick contracts. We need to meet the cap floor. So either way, even if this deal doesn't happen, we need to sign a free agent or get a big name trade or whatever the hell, get a big contract, basically, to meet the cap floor. Ideally, you want to give it to a guy for a short-term deal. You don't want to give out long-term deals. You don't want the contracts to overlap with the, incoming Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, contract extensions, you know what I mean? So ideally, the max would be a 3-year deal. I'm thinking more 2-year, a 2-year big deal. So, this is another thing that I keep saying, I keep thinking to myself, either way, we're going to have to cough up money to at least meet the cap floor. Granted, this is a big cough up money. We're coughing up a shitload with this. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. For those who don't think that we're actually not going to be in a win now mode next year, think again, please. Because, this is showing me how Will Dawkins is moving and thinking. Here's a blockbuster trade for you guys. Let me read what chat's saying right now. My apologies. I fucked up big time, boy. I messed up big time. I did not put the freaking... I did not put the freaking chat on the thing here. I usually have chat here, so I messed up big time. My bad. A blockbuster mock trade. Here's a potential mock trade. I have a couple of them. Hawks would get Anthony Davis, McCollum, Corey Kispert, and D'Angelo Russell. We would get Mavericks would get Porzingis, Zachary Risache, and a 2026 first-round pick. I'm going to get to that in a bit. I'm going to get to that first-round pick in a bit. And we would get Trae Young and Luke Kennard. So the only thing that we will give up is McCollum, Corey Kispert, and his long-term contract, and that's it. You see, it's all about the flip game. See, that's another thing that's enticing me to Trae Young, besides just his name. And again, much respect to Trae Young. Much respect to Trae Young. But it's the flip game. You get him, you try to rehabilitate his trade value, and then flip him again. You know what I mean? You flip him again. Now, the Kings just got Trae? What? This stream is cooked. Hold on. I don't see it, though. Did the Kings really get Trae? People are saying Kings got Trae. Jerflump says Kings just got Trae. Oh, hell no. I don't see anything, though. What the hell? Who tweeted it? Is somebody wrecking me right? Is somebody trolling me right now? Who said it? Jerflump Jugs, your uncle, said the Kings just got Trae. I don't know, bruh. I don't see it yet. Anyways, I'm going to keep going. This man over here trolling me. I should have stated this earlier. This is my bad. The main thing also with Trae Young is the tank. Is he going to screw over our tank? I like to think Will Dawkins is not going to, do this trade and fuck over our tank. That would be a huge, colossal mistake. In this stacked draft, I'd be inclined to think, again, this is just me speculating, that Trae Young will come here and he would sit out the majority of the second half of the season here with us. That's the only way you would trade for this player. We thought about that with Sabonis when the earlier Sabonis rules or Sabonis trade rumors. We were like, he'll come here and then they'll create an injury. I can't. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It will be, see, Will Dawkins is not stupid. I truly believe that he wouldn't come here and, trade for Trae Young. I mean, he wouldn't trade for Trae Young and have him ruin our tank. Because, Trae Young, whether we like it or not, I'm over here thinking about Trae Young, the asset, not Trae Young, the player in a long-term vision. Trae Young, the asset, perhaps he's not with here in the DMV with us for the next 2 years. This could be another Jordan Poole 2.0 type trade, except better with a better player. No offense to Jordan Poole. Actually, much offense to Jordan Poole. He's been talking that shit lately. But you know what I mean? If that you do not score your chances on trading on obtaining a highly touted draft pick in this generational draft for just a rental of Trae Young. I just can't envision a world where Will Dawkins trade for Trae Young and Trae Young ruins our tank. That would be the stupidest move. I like to think, considering Trae Young already has a nagging injury this entire year, he will be shut down. He'll play a couple games here and there. Wait, what did JP say? Jordan Poole, he talked that ish about us. He said, we have no fans. He said also, we had no bigs who couldn't set screens. He was just talking that ish. I'm going to get to the Trae Young regarding fit with the Wizards more, but let's go more over the notes. Greg Finberg says here, if the Wizards can get Trae Young for a CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert package, it makes sense. Gives the team a true point guard at great value to evaluate the young core with. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Not evaluate. Enhance their play. You know what I mean? Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, two dudes who were gained from this supremely. Also doesn't lock them into his contract long term as he only has 1 year left. The main issue is, does it hurt the tank? Greg Finberg, I completely agree. Considering your question mark here, it would hurt the tank if they play him. I'd be inclined to think that they won't play him as much. You do not fuck up your tank and odds just for a possible rental, which Trae Young would be here. Now, if he was playing good, I mean, like with us, and he does, obviously, fit in well, then yeah, we'll talk about contract negotiations here and there, but that's still a maybe. We saw what happened with Jordan Poole. We ended up trading him to the Pelicans along with Saddiq Bey, who's actually balling this year, but we traded him for the Pelicans. The NBA market spoke. You know what I mean? Another thing that's making us, make me think right here, we may overvalue Trae Young. Like us fans may be thinking like Trae Young, the name, you know what I mean? But the NBA GMs may value Trae Young in a totally different way than we do. So, you know what I mean? A lot of us were a little bit butthurt when we traded Jordan Poole just for cap space. We will see just how much the NBA values Trae Young. I'd be inclined to think that both the GMs and the fans could be in agreement that at least Trae Young is one of the best offensive players in this league. We know about his defensive limitations. Could that be masked here in DC? Perhaps. My main thing is, he would elevate these young bucks play, but at the same time, I'm a bit iffy about regarding a Trae Young, Trae Johnson backcourt defensively. You know what I mean? You would also eat into Trae Johnson's shot attempts, but anyways, let me go to the next. I keep reading y'all's thing. It says right here, Kenny Beecham, the GOAT. The GOAT chimed in. He said, makes the most sense to me regarding this news regarding the Wizards and Trae Young. I figured I should toss it in there. Shout out to Kenny Beecham. He don't know me. All right. This is another possible mock trade. All right. So again, it's the same thing actually, I believe that I just wrote. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. There's visuals though. Again, we will get Trae Young, Luke Kennard. Like I said, Trae Young is a player option. We would only give up McCollum and Corey Kispert. We get out of Corey Kispert, who's getting an average of $13.9 million a year for the next 4 years. Right here. Listen, if we are giving up assets regarding draft capital, I'm iffy regarding that. I am. Honestly, I am. But let me toss this in here real quick. I've seen other trades or mock trades saying that Wizards may possibly have to give up a young buck. A young buck to entice the Hawks with this trade. If the Hawks want to give up assets, draft capital, like it was reported, on top of giving up Trae Young, who might the Hawks covet on our squad? We talked about Tristan Vukovic and the Knicks regarding a possible deal with them. Honestly, and I'm being dead honest here, and this may hurt some fans, I would be willing to give up A.J. Johnson. And, much respect to A.J. Johnson, and here's why. If A.J. Johnson... See, I'm not giving up Cam Whitmore. I saw Cam Whitmore's name being thrown around. I'm not giving up Cam Whitmore. I'm not out on the Cam Whitmore train. But A.J. Johnson... Here's my conspiracy hat on. I got my DMC hat. Is the reason why A.J. Johnson's been playing the past 3 games, is it because we want to showcase him to teams? A.J. Johnson, out of nowhere, gets playing minutes in the rotation. He got first quarter minutes last night. Even with Corey Kispert back, he got first quarter minutes over Will Riley. Out of nowhere. This man was recently in the G League. Is that the main reason why we are playing A.J. Johnson? We are showcasing him. I don't know. I figured I should toss it out there for you guys. Let me see here real quick. My thing is not working. Anyways, let's keep going. Wizards Film Room also states this. Worth noting, amid the trade news, that former Hawks GM and current Wizards SVP of Player Personnel, Travis Schlenk, that's a cool last name, is the executive who drafted Trae Young. So there's a connection here. There's a connection here with Trae Young to DC. The former Hawks GM who drafted Trae Young is now here with the Wizards in the front office. Just tossing it out there. What's next? This was also reported, like I said earlier, Trae Young is reportedly open to a trade from the Hawks, per Mark J. Spears. He says, I don't think he's telling them not to trade him. I'm hearing he's open-minded to being moved. I do think he'd certainly be open-minded to a new I can't speak. What the fuck? To a new uniform. Now, this was also supplemented with Shams saying now they are actively working on a trade together. So, Greg Finberg also says this. The Wizards are projected to have an NBA best $80.9 million in cap space next season. Trae Young has a 49-player option he'll most likely accept. He has to. Considering his play this year, also like how I'm assuming GMs value him around the league, he'd be dumb not to accept it. His contract is expensive, but the Wizards can afford it. And like I said, we got to meet the cap floor, especially if Atlanta compensates them for doing so. Again, if the Hawks want to offload Trae Johnson and attach a draft capital to it, perhaps, I don't know, a first? I don't know. then I'm in for the trade. I'm in. I'm sorry, but I'm in. I am in. Also with the idea that we could possibly flip him again and get more assets, possibly, if he rehabilitates his trade value with us. We flip him again. He's going to be an expiring deal next year. He'll be our McCollum again, except he'll be 7 years younger and a big name. So that entices me. It's like a train that keeps on getting assets as it's going to its final destination. Let me read what chat's saying real quick. Jay says, here's another trade. DC gives up McCollum, Middleton, Whitmore for Portland's Holiday, Grant, and Murray. It works from money perspective. I don't know about that, to be honest, dude. I don't know about that. Again, I feel like right now from what I've seen, fans have been divided a little bit. I'll toss myself in there, but mostly because we don't know. It's been speculated that the Hawks attach assets. And if they do, I'm in this trade. If they do. Too many possibilities in the future. Now, if we have to give up assets, primarily draft capital, to get Trae Young, I'm not. I'm out. I'm out. So it all depends on the value. Let's keep going. This is where he says where Shams broke it in. Trae Young and his agents, Aaron Mintz, said they are now working with the franchise on a trade. Young's reps and the Hawks have started collaborative talks over the last week on finding a resolution. Dude, I've read reports saying that this trade could possibly happen within the next couple of days. If I'm a betting man, with the way things are moving this quickly, I wouldn't be surprised if this trade happens this week. I'm not saying Trae Young to the Wizards. I'm not. I'm saying a Trae Young trade in general. Unless it's already happened, because somebody trolled me already. Somebody trolled me. Oh, shit. My bad. Somebody just donated $20. Jay says, you do a great job, and I don't like any of the teams you cover, yet I still watch. Hey, man. Much appreciated. Holy hell. Holy hell. Thanks, man. You're actually one of the first people to ever donate to this channel. I'm going to have to find a way how to actually, get this money. I don't know how to do it on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Rich says, we don't need a 6-foot point guard that plays no defense out there taking 30 shots per game, mostly from three. Should have kept Poole if that's what you want. Not good for the young players. No, I mean, his game, yeah, I understand that aspect. I truly do. I'm mostly thinking about the assets that could possibly come with Trae Young in the trade and also us flipping him again. And also, we need a point guard. Either way, we were going to get a point. Hold on. Was going to say, either way, like people keep saying right now, this is going to be next year. The Wizards might be in the lottery again in the top end. Respectfully, I disagree. Next year, the window opens for a winning team. I'm not saying we're going to win 40 plus games. No. But if we are in the lottery yet again next year, something went wrong. Something went wrong. I'm regarding the top end of the lottery. For Dawkins' own job security, he needs to show big time promise next year. Ted Leonsis is not going to want to wait another year. He's given him since 2023 already. This is it. This is it. This is it. But I do understand your analysis, Rich. Trust me, I do. But it's to me, the assets that could possibly come with Trae Young. That's why I'm being that asshole who's just like, I want to see more before I give my final 2 cents. I don't like people who do that, but I feel like I genuinely can't give my affirmative yes or no without knowing more. But from the outside looking in, if we are getting assets, I'm in. I'm in, dude. It says here, next year we are a play-in team. Yeah, Sir Toot, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Sir Toot says, Ted don't care as long as Caps are complete ass. Perhaps. Marcus Proctor says, Will's not busting that move without getting assets based on his previous trades. He's definitely won more than he's lost. Marcus Proctor, you hit it there correctly. He's not doing this trade unless we're getting assets. So it inclines me to think. It inclines me to think that the NBA GMs and the NBA in general value Trae Young differently than we do as fans. And like I said earlier regarding Trae Young and this year, man has only played in 10 games this year. And in those 10 games, he has not looked the Trae Young of his normal self. 19 points and only 41, 30, and 86 shooting splits. 30% from the three. That's not Trae Young. Trae Young is 27 years old. He's going to be turning 28 later on this year in September. So, you know, it inclines me to think that Trae Young, like the Wizards would not do this without getting assets. Let's go to the next one. The Wizards have also been looking at potential CJ McCollum trades, says the Stein line, besides the Trae Young trade. Sources tell Mark Stein that the Wizards have been actively exploring their trade options with McCollum, who is playing out the final year of his contract at $30.7 million after Washington acquired the veteran guard in the offseason in a deal that sent Jordan Poole to the Pelicans. We knew this. We knew that McCollum would be heavily shopped. We were just worried, or not worried, but we were just wondering as to what his trade value would be. Yeah, holy hell, people are donating money. What the hell? Dante Payne says, I agree. You do a good job, champ. We need a big and a true point. Much appreciated, man. Holy hell. Much appreciated. My bad. I for those who are just joining the stream, I messed up. For those who are just joining the stream, I messed up, and I did not put the chat here on the screen. I usually have chat here on the screen, but my dumbass, I was too nervous. I was just like, what the hell? I was typing the shit in. Let me check Twitter as to see if things are happening right now. Because like I predicted, I think this trade's going to happen this week. Not a Wizards Trae Young trade, definitely. It could happen this week, but a Trae Young trade in general. With the way things are moving. They're moving quick. It was reported for those who just joined, it was reported an hour and a half ago saying that saying that the Wizards are interested in Trae Young. They're legitimate contenders for Trae Young. And then literally an hour ago now, Shams doubled down and said that Trae Young and the Hawks are now working together on a trade out of Atlanta. Things are moving quick. Nothing happening yet. So, who's the dude who trolled me? Somebody trolled me. Somebody trolled me here. Yeah, I can't be mad because I'm a troll too in real life. But Gerflump says the Kings just got traded. This man trolled me. You got me, you freaking dick. I'm just playing. Lockdown Law says, why in the fuck would the Wizards have interest in a 49-year-old player option next season, making Trae Young a one-year rental? Lockdown Law, if you just joined, which I think like you have, they're saying that, I'm going to read it here, Mark Stein reported that the Hawks may send draft capital to the Wizards to unload Trae Young's contract. I'm assuming this is why we are interested in Trae. Also, we also get the chance to flip him again next trade deadline. Perhaps rehabilitate his trade value and flip him again for more assets. For those who don't know, with Will Dawkins, like, we have to go about his recent patterns. This man loves to flip. We saw Jonas Valanciunas, signed him with the idea to flip. Denny Avdia, signed him with the idea to flip. Corey Kispert, I'm tossing him in there, dude. I truly believe he signed Corey Kispert with a team-friendly deal to flip him. CJ McCollum, traded for him with the idea that he's going to ball out on a team that doesn't have that many scores to flip him. Jordan Poole, traded for Jordan Poole with the idea to flip him. Granted, the Jordan Poole thing, we flipped him for Trae McCollum, cap space, but you know what I mean. We tried. The NBA market spoke. They said, fuck Poole. That's what they said. Lockdown Law says, rebuilding forever. Jay says, thank you for Denny. Best Portland trade in years. Anyways, I got one more, y'all. So Lockdown Law, that's the rationale there. And like I said, I'm going to say it one more time for those dudes who are just joining the stream. I'm saying it one more time. I am in on this trade only if we are getting assets, draft capital in return. If we are actually giving up draft capital for Trae Young, I don't know about that, to be honest with you. I respectfully say no. Respectfully. Even if it is 3 second-round picks. You know what I mean? We can find another avenue to get a player who we can flip without having to, give up assets to get him. Anyways, I got one more tab here. Oh, so this thing right here. If he's just here to get us picks, I don't care. Let's see here. He can throw up some basket. All right, let's talk regarding Trae Young. Let's talk regarding Trae Young and his fit here with the current Wizards squad. Because let's just be honest. We're going to have to mask Trae Young's defense. We're going to have to, cover him up. I already brought up the fact that Trae Young and a Trae Johnson backcourt would be horrendous defensively. Granted, I think Trae Johnson's going to improve his defense to a respectable level. But I want to show y'all something. Because, and this is with the idea that we are going to keep our pick. I said earlier in the stream, if we trade for Trae Young, I'm sorry, but it would be stupid to play him the majority of the second half. I feel like he already has an injury. They would shut him down for the rest of the year. Play him a little bit here and there, but they would shut him down. Do not risk that. That would, if we trade for Trae Young and he fucks up our tanking odds, I will be pissed. It will be malpractice by the GM. It will be the first time that I'll heavily scrutinize Will Dawkins. But Will Dawkins is not like that. He's built from a different cloth. He's not stupid. So I don't think that's going to happen. But again, this is just me rambling. Maybe I could be stupid. I don't know. If Atlanta is offering Trae Young and draft capital, you have to take that deal. Says Matt's and one. Yeah. And people just remember the fact that we can flip him again. We can get possibly, if he plays well with us early on next year, and if we don't see him as a long-term piece, we can flip him again for maybe a first-round pick. Maybe, I don't know, a low first perhaps. If he's balling and playing like an all-star on an expiring contract deal, you have to put that into ramifications. And on top of that, I didn't even bring up this fact yet. If Trae Young is going to pick up his option, he is going to be on a contract year deal. We know about this with dudes who are on a contract year. They're going to ball out so that they can ensure that they get the bag in the offseason. Trae Young's going to come here with 2% body fat. He's going to have all the incentive to ball out like McCollum did. Different levels of balling out. But McCollum came here in great shape this year. He said he's in a much better shape this year than he was last year with the Pelicans. Early on before the season started, he said that. Why? Obviously because this is a contract year. So we have to factor that in too. Trae Young's going to want to come here and ball out. Whether he likes it, he's in here in the DMV or not. He's going to have to ball out because he's going to be at the age 28 next year. No, next year. This will probably be his last true big payday. Well, he might get another contract, but you know what I mean? This will be his last true big payday. So we have to factor that in here too. Crocswell No Sock says, assist numbers will go up with Trae Young and getting to the rim will be a little bit better possibly. Plus him with Bub could help Bub out more future. I agree, but let's talk about this whole Wizards thing real quick. Because let's just say we have Trae Young here. The three guys who are going to take up most of the backcourt minutes is going to be Trae Young, Trae Johnson, and Bub Carrington. I don't think none of those dudes are going to be included in a Trae Young deal. So let's just think about that. Okay. The offensive firepower with those three dudes in our backcourt would be amazing. 3 snipers. Holy hell. 3 elite snipers from the 3-point range. Are you kidding me? And then toss in a filler for the fourth, back up 2 minutes or whatever the hell. Now, we need to mask Trae Young defensively. We need to hide him. Bilal Coulibaly and Keyshawn George and Alex Sarr will probably be it. I can see a starting lineup of Trae Young, Trae Johnson, Coulibaly, George, and Sarr. That 5. Could you imagine if we get a top 5 or a top 4 and we draft Caleb Wilson, put him into this thing? We get also a veteran backup big. See, now it's starting to make it's like, I'm not saying this will be for the long term. Obviously, you got to draft the BPA. Don't draft the guy just to mask Trae Young's defense. But what I'm saying is, this could be it. I actually saw on Twitter somebody floated out that Bilal Coulibaly would start with Trae Young in the backcourt. So I was just like, I don't know. I mean, then Trae Johnson's coming off the bench again? I thought Trae Johnson was the future, though. You know what I mean? Then you could see maybe, I don't know, Trae Young, Coulibaly, George, Sarr, and Caleb Wilson type number 5. I mean, Caleb Wilson number 4, Sarr number 5. Let me see what chat's saying. Lockdown Law says, okay, but my old ass could post up Sarr. The Wizards like their Ethiopian. Well, I'm just saying, if we get Caleb Wilson, he's a perfect front court mate. Lockdown Law, I know you want Cam Boozer. If we get Cam Boozer, you know what I mean? Holy hell. It's exciting times right now. See, I'm in, dude. I'm not regarding this Trae Young. I'm in because I expected us to be, heavily involved in all these NBA trades, the trade deadline. And I actually read a report saying that this trade deadline might actually be quiet. And I was just like, it's not going to be quiet unless Will Dawkins says it's going to be quiet. This man's going to be shopping around. T. Dre says, yo, my brother, and Trae's an elite shooter and scoring, but is a liability on defense. So Key, Be Cool, Sarr, and our elite prospect could cover up his issues. Yep. T. Dre, I agree, dude. I completely agree. Yeah. Actually just brought that up. But then again, I can see a scenario maybe perhaps they do start Coulibaly, George, maybe the 4, Cam Boozer or Caleb, whatever the hell we land, and Alex Sarr. Trae comes off the bench, and then we trade Trae Young at the trade deadline, reinsert Trae Young. But that's too much right there. You know what I mean? That's too much. I'm just like, fuck. We're fucking around with Trae Johnson too much. But I don't know. Also, see, I'm telling you, I'm going off the head right now. Ideally, because we saw about the Sabonis trade earlier on. Ideally, I would have wanted us to make a trade for Trae Young, or not even Trae Young, anybody else, any big name person after the lottery. My bad, I gotta make sure something. Because I'm just like, what if we get number 1 or number 2, and we are in position to draft Darren Peterson? What do we need Trae Young for? You know what I mean? What do we need Trae Young for if we get Darren Peterson? So I kept saying to myself, honestly, I want to see where we land in the lottery first. But now, with this, I'm just like, perhaps the Hawks can't wait. Perhaps now is the time for Trae Young. They can't wait until May or until after this. This is the time. Just tossing it out there. But ideally, I would have wanted to see where we land in the lottery first, because that would dictate everything. Like I said, could you imagine? But also at the same time, could you imagine a backcourt of Trae Young and then Darren Peterson, who actually is a dog defensively? No offense to Trae Johnson. See, I'm not trying to diminish Trae Johnson whatsoever. I'm not. But it puts us in a scenario, which honestly is a good problem to have. So I don't know why the hell I'm bitching about that. But, at the end of the day, I feel like you got to go BPA in the draft, no matter what. You got to go BPA. Don't let Trae Young dictate you on your draft. Let's see here. Let's see what our chat's saying. MGS says, Vegas odds now have the Wizards as Trae Young's next team. Trae could help Peterson develop his playmaking, says MDG. Yeah. Not only Peterson, he would help Trae Johnson in his playmaking. And Bob Carrington. Aldo Loco says, if we can't go back to the Bullets, I would trade Trae Young to the Wizards for the DC Go-Go's in a heartbeat. Yeah, dude, I'm tired of the Wizards name. I agree. Dude, I get shitted on so much by being a Wizards fan, not because the team is not good, but because the Wizards name is the Wizards. I'm just like, what the hell? This logo though right here is fire. I love this since it came out. It's like I got my Wizards gear on, boy. I'm excited, man. I am super excited. Mostly because I'm just like in my head, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Whether we get Trae Young or not, like it just shows me how Will Dawkins is moving right now. Will Dawkins is moving, and he's just like, hey man, I'm gonna be super active this offseason. How many players have we been linked to already? I'm sorry, Sabonis, Darius Garland, Jonathan Kuminga, now Trae Young. Am I missing somebody else? I feel like I am. Off the top of my head, that's 4 dudes already. 4 of the prime dudes. Now, so yeah, if anything, this should tell us, whether we get Trae Young or not, this should tell us how Will Dawkins is moving out here. Will Dawkins is moving, and you know what? He is going to freaking get us to the promised land with this one. And again, this trade to me is all about the possible assets that come with it. Let's say here, the district does sound cool. I actually like that actually. Let's say here. Let me see. Let me read up. Because a Trae Young trade could happen within the stream. And if it does, I will crash out. Nothing yet. Okay, we're good. So I obviously was trolled earlier on. Respect to the troll. Respect the troll. From one troll to another, I respect it. Another thing that I was thinking about as well, I should have had my notes ready in hand. Another thing that I was thinking about as well with Trae Young is Trae Young, the person, would he want to be here? I don't know Trae Young all too well regarding like his overall like background and stuff like that. Like we've seen dudes come here who are big names and actually like it here. Kyle Kuzma, before he fucked up with us toward the end. Kristaps Porzingis, he liked it here. He didn't want to leave. You know what I mean? I'm talking about dudes who we acquired, not dudes who we drafted. Would Trae Young like it here? I feel like Trae Young will come here and he would see the young bucks on our squad, the budding stars that we have, and he'd be like, holy hell, I just freaking encountered a gold mine. Andrew says Young does not want to be here. You know what? Maybe John Walker will be like, hey man, Rose Bar is right there. Well, Trae Young's he's been playing in Atlanta for how long now? Since 2018. You know what I mean? He'll be like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. He might like it here. I don't know. I don't know. See, a lot of these recent players that we've acquired, they've actually liked it here. McCollum has said it multiple times. He likes the DMV. The main ones that come to my head is Kyle Kuzma. Kristaps Porzingis liked it here. Jordan Poole, he said he liked it here, and then this motherfucker starts talking that ish behind our back. Baltimore says this could happen around 8 based on the rumors. So within 9 minutes then. Bagley, Crocs, Swallows, No Socks. You're right. Yep. Bagley came back. Yeah. Hey, man, I know we're off from the DMV, or we're all, yeah, we're off from the DMV primarily, I'm assuming, if you're a Wizards fan. Let's not dog on our place. DC is beautiful. You got Maryland here as well. You got, if you're an outdoors person, you can go to Virginia, go on those hikes. You know what I mean, dude? Virginia got the best hiking trails. Maryland, we got great restaurants here in Maryland. You know what I mean? The nightlife is in DC. Maryland, we got kind of both. I don't know. Let me read what chat's saying. Frontline says, I hope this is not true. Well, it is true. It's true, dude. It's just a matter of fact if the Wizards and the Hawks will get it done. It's just, I don't know. If I'm a betting man, I'm saying there's a 75% chance that this trade gets done. And this is just me speculating, just thinking out loud. It makes a lot of sense. Also, at the same time, Kenny Beecham said this, and Kenny Beecham is everything. So, makes the most sense to me. I mean, from the outside, like, for those non-Wizards fans who think that he's a great fit here for us, I can see it. But for us here who live and breathe this team, we're just thinking about defensively, especially with a backcourt made of Trae Johnson, if that's ideal. Well, defensively for anywhere that Trae Young goes. But we do have defensive wings and an elite rim protector in Alex Sarr who could possibly mask this for Trae Young. And a possible another defensive demon coming in the lottery. If Atlanta throws in a first, this is a done deal. All right. Lockdown Law, you just brought me something real quick. Lockdown Law just sparked something that I forgot to mention earlier on in the stream. So, for those who don't know, let me type this up real quick. For those who do not know, the Pelicans, they traded for Derek Queen, right? And they gave up their unprotected first-round pick to the Hawks this upcoming draft, which is crazy. The Hawks, or the Pelicans right now, have the second worst record in the league. We're right there with them. I've read reports saying that the Mavericks are actually trying to attain the Hawks' the Pelicans' first-round pick that is going to the Hawks. I've read reports. Now, I'd assume it would be involving an Anthony Davis type trade. I don't know if I'll give up that pick if I'm the Hawks. As a matter of fact, I would not give it up whatsoever. What the fuck? That'd be stupid. You hit the gold mine, and you're going to tell other people, hey, man, I found some gold here. No. Keep the gold to yourself. Sometimes you got to be selfish in life. If this pick is up for grabs, I'm not saying that they're going to give it up just solely for giving up Trae Young, sorry. We may have to give assets to the Hawks in order for them to give us this pick. If the Hawks want to give us this pick, guys, I will do backflips. I will go crazy. I'm trying to keep this stream PG-13. Now, fuck it. I'm about to say rated R. So, like, we would have possible, again, I'm getting too excited for no reason. I don't think the Hawks would be doing this, but I've read reports saying that the teams are trying to entice the Hawks to give that up. Let me see what y'all thinking. No way in this draft, keep it. I just said we couldn't get it. They're not giving up that pick. Yeah, Andrew Kill TV. Yeah, I know. You're right. Honestly, it's very stupid for, I'm only saying that because it's been reported that the Mavericks are trying to get that pick from the Hawks. So it'll be, I don't know. I honestly don't think that also the Pelicans are going to finish with the second worst record in the league. They might finish 5th, but still, even that's way too good. But yeah. Now, the asset that that the Hawks may have to attach to this Trae Young deal, what are y'all thinking? Would y'all accept 3 second-round picks? Or is your minimum just a first-round pick? What's y'all barrier? Let's say it's cemented already that they're going to give up assets, draft capital. What do you guys want? Realistically speaking, it'll be a first-round pick, ideally a low, maybe a future first-round pick, protections added to it, but not a super low pick. You know what I mean? Not a super low pick. But would y'all do this with Trae Young coming here for 3 or maybe 2 second-round picks? Would you guys like that? Jay says minimum first round. Crocswell No Socks says first round. No first rounder and give me a swap on the side. If the Hawks get number 2 and the Wizards get screwed again, a pick swap is possible. Huh. Perhaps Lockdown Law is cooking with something on that one. Perhaps he's cooking with that one. Me, ideally, I would not do this for just 3 second-round picks or 2 second-round picks. I'm getting me a first. Then I'm going to go out and grab a nice dinner in the D.C. I might go to Clyde's, you know what I mean, to celebrate this deal. I'm going to go all out. You're telling me you're getting me a guy, Trae Young, multiple-time All-Star, in the prime of his NBA career, and you're giving me a first-round pick too? And I can flip him again, possibly? Oh, no, dude, I'm in. I am in. And there's also a chance that he buys into the system or buys into the DMV, and he's here for the long time. We don't know yet. It depends on how he plays here, but you know what I mean? Robert McCollum says, my brother and I are watching you every day. Shout out, please. Hey, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. Again, for those who just joined the stream, I fucked up. I usually have the chat right here, and my dumbass forgot to put it up because I was jittery and excited. I fucked up big time. That's why I'm reading this comment out loud. But I appreciate that, Robert McCullum. Lockdown Law says, not for sloppy seconds. Yeah, we don't do sloppy seconds here in a dirty bucket. No. We're there first. Not like that. Frontline says, you're talking me into this, man. I don't want to play him. I don't want Trae on to play us out of the lottery. No, dude. I agree. Well, I agree with you agreeing with me. No. I agree with you stating that I don't want to be out of the lottery either. I don't think nobody does. But ideally, this is with me thinking that we will shut him down for the rest of the season once we do get him, if we do get him. He already's had multiple injuries. As a matter of fact, let's read exactly what he's been suffering from this year, because he's had multiple injuries this year. He has only played in 10 games this year. You know what I mean? There's a legit path to shut him down, perhaps. What exactly? Says right here. Trae Young to miss 5th straight games as injury report releases. Says right here. Tell me what happened. What's his injury? He's had a right quad contusion. Sorry, y'all. I religiously follow the Wizards, but I don't follow the entire NBA. I mean, I do, but I don't know their freaking injuries. I do know that the Hawks have been playing much worse with Trae Young. I keep saying Trae Johnson. Trae Young back in the fold. There's actually a report or a stat here. Maybe they have it here. Because the Hawks are doing much better without Trae Young this year. Oh, here it is. Here it is. For those who didn't believe me. Let me put this over here. According to Chris Mannix, Dallas is looking to acquire the Pelicans' unprotected 2026 draft pick that Atlanta currently possesses. Currently, the Pelicans hold the second best odds to win the NBA draft lottery. There have been multiple reports stating that the Hawks have 2 untouchable trade assets, that being the star forward Jalen Johnson, who's balled out this year, and the other being the Pelicans pick. So that is not dissuading. However, that is not dissuading the Mavericks, though. It says here, I can tell you with certainty that the Mavericks have been trying to pry away that New Orleans pick away from the Hawks for some time now. That has been on the mind of the Mavericks front office for some time. And it says here, last week, NBA insider Mark Stein reported on the Hawks' ongoing talks with Dallas for Anthony Davis, and once again mentioned that the Pelicans draft pick is untouchable in Atlanta lives, as it should be. The only reason why I brought it up is because the Dallas Mavericks are actually trying to do it. But if I'm the Pelicans, I am offended by that. I might involve government authorities, get a freaking, restriction on the Mavericks within the vicinity of me. That's stupid. Like, who do you think you are to try to pry this away from me? But stranger things have happened in the NBA. Looking at the Luka Doncic trade last year. Granted, we all know Adam Silver was involved in that. Mark USD says send Bub and Middleton. Nah, I respectfully disagree, dude. I am not sending any of our young bucks that we drafted. Maybe the only one that we drafted I'm willing to give up is Tristan Vukovic. I'm not even giving up Jameer Watkins in this. No. I said the only young bucks on our squad that I would give up, going back here, I'll think about Malachi Brown, Vooch, and this may piss off some people, but if it takes A.J. Johnson to get a future first-round pick from the Hawks in this deal, I am including A.J. Johnson. As a matter of fact, I said early on in the stream, A.J. Johnson has been playing the past 3 games randomly. Could it be that the Wizards want to showcase him? Look at this. Played 16 minutes against the Bucks, 14 against the Nets, 13 against the Timberwolves, randomly. So, what man was recently in the G League, and before that, this entire season, just been playing garbage time minutes. He got first quarter minutes against the Timberwolves last night. He actually played really solid against the Bucks. 8 points, 2 of 3 from the 3, 2 assists, 1 steal. So I'm just tossing it out there for you guys. I've been on the stream for an hour. What the hell? Locked on Law says they can have AJ. Rich Reloaded says they can have AJ. Yeah, dude, I'm in. They can have AJ. If I have to give up AJ Johnson to get a future first-round picks from the Hawks, I am calling Uber. No, I am the Uber driver for AJ Johnson. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I can't. See, I come from a business background. I need the assets. Show me the assets. I need the assets. Locked on Law said, matter of fact, they have to take AJ Johnson or we're not doing this. Hey, yo. Nope, we're not taking $49 million next year. Give me a first. Yeah. No, I agree. Here, look. I'm going to pull up the overall cap space for us next year. Hold on. Because like I said earlier, we have to meet the cap floor either way because we have 11 first-round picks on our squad. So we have to spend up money. But we don't have to spend up $49 million in money, though. That's more than the actual cap floor. So here it is. Hope y'all can see. Let me move my ass over here. All right. So look at our contracts for next year. Everybody besides Champagny is on their rookie contract scale. Champagny pretty much is essentially still on a rookie contract. Like, man's only making $2 million next year. The only person who's not on a rookie deal is Corey Kispert. Alex Sarr's making $12 million, but this man was a second overall pick. Everybody else, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, either way, we're going to have to spend money. But we don't have to spend $49 million in money. We can use that cap space in different avenues, different methods. So that's where the first round pick comes into play. Because we can tell the Hawks, hey man, do you really want to give up Trae Young or not? Hold on. Let me make sure Trae Young didn't get traded during the stream. I'd assume y'all would tell me though. Let's see here. Nothing. I don't see anything yet. Nothing. People just speculating. Lockdown Law says you have to spend the cap floor. Yeah, you have to spend to meet the cap floor. Either way. Says right here. Let's see here. Plus, we're not competitive yet, so 49 not the serious in that year. That's true. And also, you'll be on an expiring deal next year as well. But I keep regurgitating that aspect. Andrew Kill TV says Trae will be a good mentor for the bub, and he averages like 10 assists, so he'll be good at that. Getting the young guys next year, easy buckets. Yeah, dude, Alex Sarr is going to be an all-star next year if Trae Young's here. All-star, Alex Sarr. All-star. That's all he's missing right now. Alex Sarr's averaging 17 and 8 this year on good shooting splits without a point guard. Let that sink in. And defensively, elite rim protector. Defensive versatility. Nah, dude. And he's only 20 years old. 7'1" with a 7'4" wingspan. Insane. Anyways, I'm about to call it quits, y'all. I did this stream and I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I went here immediately to stream, came home from work, sped, was driving like a freaking maniac because this is crazy. Before I end the stream, this also came out. We have also been linked to Jonathan Kuminga per Kevin O'Connor. League sources say that at least 3 teams have been linked to Kuminga. Blazers, Pelicans, and Wizards. Jay, the Blazers are interested in your boy Kuminga. I like to think this is the same deal where they would attach assets to Kuminga for us to take him on. See, I predicted this, and I ain't shit. I ain't shit. But you know what I mean? I was just like, we're going to see a Marcus Smart type trade. This trade deadline again, where we absorbed Marcus Smart's contract and also got a first round pick on top of that, which ended up being the 18th overall pick, which we got lucky. We got lucky because at the time it was like the 26th or 27th overall pick. It ended up being the 18th overall pick. I'm thinking this is going to be another trade. So I'm not saying we're going to get Kuminga, but I'm just saying like this is like the type of trades that I'm assuming we're going to be in. Let's see here. Braden Michael says, we got 2 first rounders for Demi. Oh, y'all talking about Denny. Let's see here. Oh, Braden, that's a great point, actually. I didn't think about that. We were talking about Trae Young and the fit in the DMV, but Trae Young would also put more butts in seats. And considering how we've been doing the past couple of years, that may entice Ted Leonsis to push wait. We know here, this is a Ted Leonsis constructive criticism / hate channel. You know, I'm not going to shy away from giving Ted Leonsis his criticism. If Ted Leonsis pushes Will Dawkins to make any sort of basketball move, I'll be pissed off. He promised us, he said, all basketball moves will be made by the GM. I will not have any input moving forward. It was Ted Leonsis' decision, not Tommy Shepard, to keep on building the Bradley Beal Dark Ages teams. That was Ted Leonsis. Ted Leonsis was scared to rebuild. He didn't want to go through this. And he kept putting out a faulty product every freaking year. Now, I got to give Ted his praise. He made a bomb-ass hire in Will Dawkins. Winger. He stepped away. He's letting the basketball guys make the basketball decisions. I got to give him his props. He made a great hire. He's letting Will Dawkins cook. That's it. I was actually, before this year, I was praising Ted Leonsis since 2024. I was praising him. And then Ted Leonsis fucked me over again, making us pay $20 a month to watch this BS. I'm not on board with that. I'm not. Let me see what chat's saying. Teddy No Game also needs to draw next season because Ovechkin is done. That's true. I don't watch the Caps. Shout out to the Caps, though. That's also true. Anyways, I'm going to call it quits. I got to go eat my frozen chicken burrito. If something happens later on tonight, I'll go on stream again. But, you know what I mean? Uptown George. Yep, I brought that up too. We have the GM right now who drafted Trae Young on our front office. There's a connection there. Where is it right here? I had one of these. Yep. Worth noting that the former Hawks GM and current Wizards SVP of player personnel, Travis Schlenk, it's a cool last name though. Travis Schlenk is the executive who actually drafted Trae Young. So there's a connection there. It makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. But you know what? I'm hungry. And, we'll see how things go. Anyways, take care, everybody. Let's see here. Y'all going at it right now? My apologies one last time. I said earlier, I usually include the chat in the screen. I fucked up. That's my bad. Shout out to the Wizards. Shout out to Will Dawkins. Let Will Dawkins cook. Let the basketball guys make the basketball decisions. All right? I trust Will Dawkins, which is why I'm excited. I don't think he's going to pull this trade unless we're getting assets in return. But this is only the beginning, dude. We're a month away from the trade deadline. This is only the beginning. Anyways, I'll see y'all. We play tomorrow. We play the freaking Magic at 7 p.m. here at Capital One. So we'll see what happens with Trae Young news, but you know what I mean. Exciting times. I'm going to end it with this. For those who just joined the stream, I am in on this Trae Young deal, but only if it includes a first-round pick in return, with the idea of us possibly flipping him again next trade deadline. So I need to know more. But if we have to give up assets to get Trae Young, primarily draft assets, I'm out. But we'll see more. I do have supreme trust in Will Dawkins, which is why I'm excited, because I think Will Dawkins is not going to fuck us over. He's not going to fuck us over, dude. Those Ernie Grunfeld days are far long gone. They're gone. Those Tommy Shepard days. In the past, we got ourselves a man with aura here in the GM position here in the Wizards. Oh, man. Fun times here with the Wizards Nation. I haven't been this excited, not just regarding this trade rumor. No, screw that. Screw this Trae Young. Not screw it, but you know what I mean. Just in general, I haven't been this excited as a Wizards fan since 2014. So, take care, everybody. Peace. If you enjoyed the stream, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Let me see what y'all saying. Yeah. If you enjoyed the stream, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow after the game. Peace.